If there is somebody who is wheeling and dealing you on the prices up front, they are going to be your problem client.
Stick to your prices, know what you're worth, and don't bend for anyone. We're your hosts, Sahara Embry
and Michaela Bedoyan. From working corporate 9-to-5s to running million-dollar companies,
we're bringing you the inside scoop of what it takes to start and scale your business.
We're keeping things real, raw, and unfiltered. This is the Rise and Refine podcast.
Welcome back
to the Rise and Refine podcast.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, y'all.
Yes, we're excited because today we're going to talk about, I feel like most people are uncomfortable talking about it, but we're going to talk about money today.
Money, money, money.
Yes. So we're hoping this helps you guys learn from us, but we want to talk about things we did right with money in the beginning versus where we made mistakes.
Yep.
And then also where we made mistakes, but we're kind of good with accepting it because it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Kind of go through all those different conversations with money.
And I feel like some of y'all are going to be like, holy cow, y'all did what?
Yes.
Because some of these mistakes y'all can definitely learn from us in, but it was more so of like there were so many different options out there and we just didn't properly do the research.
Yes.
So we're gonna go ahead and dive into some of the systems specifically that we started with.
But in the beginning, we started out with two systems, Follow Up Boss, which is probably not known in the marketing world because it's more of a real estate thing. And then
I wouldn't know about it because of...
You wouldn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And then HoneyBook. So we used both systems for two different reasons. One, Follow Up Boss for automations and for lead generation and for following up with all of our contacts.
Yeah.
And two, HoneyBook for invoicing project contracts. And that's pretty much what HoneyBook did.
Yeah, at least
beginning.
For us. Yeah, we didn't really go into or use it in any other way with email automations. Yeah. We didn't really touch into any of that. It was more of just contracts, invoicing, keeping all of our projects.
And calendars.
Yeah.
Like booking. And technically we still use HoneyBook for that.
In a way.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we're not saying these are systems that we regret using.
By no means.
Yeah. They were mistakes for us and we'll kind of dive in. So I can talk about Follow Up Boss and let you dive into HoneyBook.
Sounds good.
The reason we went with Follow Up Boss was because any good business has a great CRM. So you know when to follow up with people and automations and stuff. But Follow Up Boss is actually more of a real estate software. I used it because I was familiar with it. And I had already gotten it to work in a couple different companies and it works amazing. I'm like one of their biggest fans. I use it for real estate. I think we've been on it for 4 or 5 years now. So it's like, oh, easy. We'll go with Follow Up Boss because I know how to use it and it does what I need it to do. Without really understanding that some of the reason I wouldn't use it is not because it didn't accomplish what we needed it to.
Right.
It's because other systems that have what we need, like the invoicing and contracting, have the part of Follow Up Boss that I needed. And I didn't need all the bells and whistles that came with Follow Up Boss for marketing business. So it was almost like we were paying for something that we could get with these other systems and we were missing out.
And it was all in one, whereas this one piece was with Follow Up Boss.
And Follow Up Boss has all these other pieces that didn't relate to our business.
What are some of those?
That we couldn't use. It's got a lot of like website tracking and data for clients. It's got a lot of integrations with other real estate systems like home searches and all these bells and whistles.
Yeah.
And it's got like Follow Up Boss like automations in terms of following up with specific clients that are based upon real estate. A lot of like phone calling and texting, which we don't use. We use Slack for our clients,
right?
And emailing. So it has a lot to do with like using their system for calling and texting
and tracking all of those messages and things like that. And the only reason why Sahara even knew about Follow Up Boss or has been using Follow Up Boss is because of her having a real estate team under her brokerage.
Yes.
And so that's, if y'all are like, wait, why did you even think about Follow Up Boss?
Yeah, because I was using
that.
Yeah. Well, and I'd used it for Venture Haven too. And it really works great for Venture Haven.
And Venture Haven is a property management company.
Yes. So I was like, oh, it'll work good for marketing. But before Follow Up Boss, we actually used HubSpot. Because I was like, that is known for marketing. So then when HubSpot didn't work out, I was like, oh, I'll just go Follow Up Boss because I've used it. I know it works and I like it. And so the mistake we made with that is just knowing that we thought we needed all the bells and whistles for lead generation follow-up when the business just doesn't operate around texting and calling
Yeah.
and some of the other integrations it comes with. So it was a mistake and it just didn't work for our business, but it's an amazing system. If you're watching this and you're in real estate, 100% would recommend it. It will definitely make you money in that sense.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So now we'll kind of talk about why we switched to our system. We'll talk about in a second that we use now that combines CRM and what we were using for invoices and contracting, which is HoneyBook.
And HoneyBook. HoneyBook is so great if you are just starting out as an early stage business owner. HoneyBook is so user friendly. If you know nothing about CRMs, you don't have any idea of how they work, how a client is supposed to move through, how you are sending out proposals, contracts, what that looks like, HoneyBook is a great place to start. The interface itself, the dashboard, is very friendly. You can see all of your projects right in one place. You can click into a project. It is all broken down based off of the tags, your notes. If you have anything in there that you need to send off to a client, you can upload. It is a great software. Again, if you are just starting out and you don't need a ton of automations, I would highly recommend HoneyBook.
And it's not too expensive. It's great for small businesses, super easy to learn. It has a great like client portal interface too for your clients, and it looks good. So definitely,
most definitely.
I mean, I'm a big fan of HoneyBook. It's just, it was missing, like Michaela said, some of those automations and some of the customization we needed on the proposal and contract end of stuff. And just project management is not the best in HoneyBook.
Right.
And we're really trying to narrow down. And instead of money, we're talking about money, instead of making a money mistake of having so many different systems or so many different things, with what we do, we wanted to try to nail one system that could do a little bit of everything versus needing bells and whistles for all the stuff we weren't going to use.
Exactly. And so we decided to pivot from HoneyBook to Dubsado. And we actually worked with Chanel and Lee. We contracted out for this because we really just got into the weeds. Sahara dove into the back end and she was like, I could teach myself how to do this, or we can invest in somebody who does this for a living and knows what the heck they're doing. Thank goodness we actually did that, because it was so great to work with Taylor Heaton with Chanel and Lee. She set up the entire back end of our Dubsado. She helped us craft out a proposal template that housed different automations that we can plug in for client projects, and it generated the proper proposal. We could attach our contract and invoice to that proposal, so it's just a 1-2 click for our clients. If they're a prospective client, they can just simply, if they're ready to sign, go from our proposal to our contract, pay the invoice, and be done. And without us having to lift a finger, it is so much more streamlined. It's so much easier for us because we aren't having to start all of these different triggers. And so the back end side of Dubsado is actually why we switched. All of the workflows that were built out, everything is automated for us so that we don't have to be in the weeds on the back end of our business every single day. We can trust that everything that is set up for us is going to work properly, and we don't have to be in it every single day.
No, we don't. And I think we even talked about like the whole process with her and stuff, and a whole systems episode.
Yeah, we did.
On the money side of this, I wonder if we could figure out how much we spent with her to just be transparent, because what I want to say about going into money, the whole raw conversation of this, when we started Refined, before we then stopped it and then came back to it, we actually used Dubsado. And the money mistake was using a system but not hiring somebody to set it up, because the one thing with Dubsado is that it is a lot of time to set it up properly. So where we made mistakes in the past with these systems is wanting to take the time to set it up ourselves, and where I wish we would have done it sooner and where we could have saved money, if we're being transparent about it, is hiring her from day one to fully set up and using that one system versus trying to save money and do it ourselves and switch between all these systems. So
because we probably wasted a couple $1,000 in between switching from the different systems, the cancellation fees for the annual contracts that we purchased and all of that. Do you want to look up really quickly how much we actually spent with Taylor?
So that was $3,200.
$3,200. And and we worked with her at the end of 2024. So her pricing probably has changed a little bit. But yeah, it was a $3,400 investment that we made into Dubsado. And now,
and I can read what that included too.
Yeah, let's read that.
So it included the strategy workflow call, which I remember that meeting.
it was a long meeting, yeah, but I didn't realize.
Even I am like, I love processes and numbers, and I'm analytical. I was even like, not because of her, because it was so much. It was deep diving into every automation process. It was much needed, but it was a very long meeting.
Yes.
Then she custom built all workflows for up to 3 services. She did the email copy for the client touch points. She designed the proposal template. She did optimization on the contracts and forms. She did the scheduler templates, organization of projects and all the funnels for them, a 2-hour training call. And then she did follow up and email support for 30 days after. So she kind of went in, set up automations, email templates, proposals, contracts, workflows, all of that.
Yeah. Branding packages on Refined side for our web design packages and for our website in a week offer. All of those automations are already built out.
Yes.
So when somebody comes to us for brand design specifically, we go into Dubsado, we send them that proposal, and then that triggers the automation to move through and send either follow-up emails regarding the proposal for the contract and invoice. And then once the contract and invoice are actually signed, that triggers an entirely new automation or like a further automation down in that series, and it starts the entire client project per client. And so it's absolutely insane what it does, but it has dramatically increased I know Sahara's time to be able to help her free up some extra time to work on other things, big business building.
It's not as intense as going to all these different systems.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's, we've only touched the surface of it. We still have to get into the scheduler she built out for it, switch from that, and a couple other things. But I wish we would have just started with the system from day one and spent the money to have someone set it up. So it's actually money mistake, something I wish we would have spent money on sooner. We did switch from other systems, but I wouldn't even say those systems were necessarily a waste. Honeybook really got us through the first year of business.
It did.
And they're still
amazing.
And
it was really
systems.
Easy for me to understand too, because I felt like I was drinking water from a fire hose with learning how to run a business from somebody
manage
who
all those clients.
hasn't run a business before and manage clients and learn about putting money aside for taxes from what I was being paid and like all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And so having a very easy to understand CRM was a godsend for me.
Yes, 100%.
So I wouldn't say it was a mistake, but it was definitely a learning lesson of like, okay, if we could go back, that is something that we would do, even if we didn't necessarily have the cash flow up front to just go spend $3,200 on a CRM and setting it up.
We would have still started with that CRM and just invest in your time to set it up, and then later on bring in somebody like an expert to even build it out more.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a really good one. The second thing is not charging for your worth. And that's two things, because I feel like your worth may start somewhere and build up, and you have to adjust your prices to match as you grow too.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is definitely something we learned our lesson on.
Oh, most definitely. I would also, if a client came to us and it was after the fact their project was closed out, they had been offboarded, and they were like, hey, can you do this? I'm like, yeah. Like, I didn't want to say no to them. And I didn't even ask for any type of reimbursement for the time, because I just wanted to build up a good rapport with them, and so that they would send us referral business. They would talk highly of us. I think it bit us in the butt a little bit there at the beginning, because I was spinning my wheels so much on doing so much work that I wasn't getting paid for. And I was taking away time, and we were saying no, we're pushing out projects that we probably could have started sooner, because I was taking on projects that I probably shouldn't have.
We definitely weren't charging for your worth the right way in the beginning. But I think another thing when it comes to not charging for your worth is when somebody comes to you. In the beginning, we just wanted all the clients we could get. So we'd have people come to us and they're like, oh, well, your pricing I can't afford. And we were like, well, what can we do to make it happen? And we were like, we'll cut this out of our
prices.
We'll bend the prices, and we'll say, we'll cut this out so that you can get this. And That's just never worth it. Like, stick to your prices, know
Well,
what
that's
they're
not how
worth.
you run a profitable
No, it's
business.
not. Stick to your prices, know what you're worth, and don't bend for anyone. And if you have to say no to somebody, then that's okay.
And probably saying no to that person is going to open the door for a different prospective client
Yes.
to come through and snag that opening spot that
Yeah.
you probably would have given to somebody who, and just to be quite frank, I feel like from our own personal experience, if there is somebody who is wheeling and dealing you on the prices up front, they are going to be your problem client every
Yes.
single time. They
Yes.
are going to have the most issues with revisions. They are going to have the most issues with your specific process, how you do things, the way that you speak or move or talk on camera or like meet with them. Like they're going to nitpick everything that you do. And so we found that those that don't even blink an eye at our prices and are ready to invest in their business and are ready to work with us based off of what they've seen from our website, from our portfolio, from our Instagram, from social media, whatever it might be, from following us for a little bit and the consistency in that, they don't blink an eye at our prices and they're like,
because they
and they
see
trust
what
us.
it's worth. They're ready to make that investment for their business, then they're the right fit for us. But something I think we did right as well, that was something we did wrong, was bending our prices. Something we did right was at the end of each year, we reevaluate our pricing as
Yes.
well. We know, okay, one, Michaela's gained so much more experience. Like
Yeah.
where she was a few years ago is not where she's at now, but we've added more to our services. We're a bigger business. We've got more clients. And so be okay with adjusting your prices and charging more based on where you're at with your business as well. And that is a money thing we did right, is we were really nervous last year to adjust all of our prices. Like, are we going to assign clients? Like, are they going to be okay with this? But it's also who you attract and who you bring in and what you provide.
Yeah.
And I think upping our prices was a smart money thing we did and being comfortable with. And I think we upped
every single package by, it was a minimum of $1,000.
Yeah, depending on what the package was.
Yes. And so our cheaper packages were all upped by 1,000, and our not most popular, our highest price point package, because it included a lot more, was upped by, it was almost 2,000.
Yeah.
We just like right at 1,800. It was a good chunk. And that was scary for us to do, because it was like, you were like, okay, are people going to respond to this? Are we going to steer away clients that we want to be working with? But what we found is we've actually attracted a higher price point or a more luxe client
after time, not originally.
Not originally. It took about
it was rough
5
in the beginning.
months. Yeah,
it was a lot of no.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I
told Michaela, said, I am so drained from, in the nicest way, doing these discovery calls, because and here's the thing, it's what you provide. So we're not saying like we deserve like the most. It's because this is what we provide. This is our worth. This is where our prices are. And we're not the most expensive brand agency. We're not the cheapest. We're like right smack dab in the middle. But in the beginning, when we changed prices, I was meeting with all these discovery calls, and their budget didn't match what our new prices were. And it was like a no after no. And I'm like, I told Michaela, said, I'm really tired of doing all these discovery calls. So I told her, I had a conversation, said, we need to start putting out there what we do and and why we do it in our pricing, and attract less discovery calls, but higher quality ones, because I'd rather meet with one person a week that I know already knows what we offer and what we do and knows our pricing than I would 10 people who all say no, because that took up so much time for me.
Yeah, most definitely.
So there's an adjustment. But we got through it.
It was an adjustment. It was a little scary there for a little bit. And that's where you just kind of have to lean in. And that's where the term building your business on faith comes in, because whether you're religious or not, like, you have to have faith in yourself. You have to have faith in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you have to keep that why at the forefront, because I mean, it was a little rocky there for a hot minute, but we pulled through. And then, it was about 2 months after we adjusted our prices, that's when we started to hit some of those higher price point clients, and, lock those in, nailed those. And then
we took less clients too at a higher price.
We
could
invest
more. That's where the value really came, because we could invest more into the clients we worked with.
Yeah. Yep.
So big point there. All right. The next point is contracting out work that did not equal a return. We would contract out some work and spend this money, but what we were contracting out wasn't equaling a return, and we could have just done it ourselves if we learned. Yeah.
So what we're talking about specifically is with Pinterest. She's an incredible Pinterest manager.
Yeah.
We're not downing her by any means. We just had an unrealistic expectation of what we were going to be getting out of it.
Yes.
And she set proper expectations. She outlined everything the way that she should be outlining it. It was more so if we were like, oh, we are going to grow our Pinterest account and then we're going to be booking inquiries from it.
Yeah, we figured we'll spend this money, get someone to grow the account, and in reality, we'll get all these clients.
And Pinterest is a long-term game.
Yes.
It is probably
big investment.
the longest term game social media app that you can play. And we were starting a Pinterest account from scratch. We literally had pretty much nothing up there. She was starting with maybe like 5 followers and maybe 20,000 monthly views.
Yeah,
like
she
it
did
wasn't
get us results.
She was starting with the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when she started posting, when she was putting out the content, it wasn't until we worked with her for 3 months. We just wanted to do a trial run, 90 days, see what it looked like. After that, we didn't see a ton of immediate results. And that's why we decided to stop working with her. And plus, on the money side, we were just trying to invest in other areas. Pinterest wasn't working out for us in the way that we were hoping.
Where you're spending money. And while that may work for someone and she was great, it's like, well, can we take this money and put it somewhere else and get more of a return? Because we're not ready to invest in long-term gains on Pinterest.
Exactly. But now, 10 months later, we are seeing the results of what she was doing. And our monthly views went up to over 800,000 from what we were starting at was, I think, maybe 20.
Yeah.
If that. And so it took 10 months for us to see a return on the investment. But when we needed to see the return, we didn't. And that was a blind spot that we both had that we have now learned from.
Yeah. Yeah. And even though we have that many, because that sounds like a lot, like 800, it's like, well, why not invest the money again? Well, because we have that many monthly views, it's not that we're getting all these leads still from it. Like we have gotten a couple, but it's just not, it's about timing on when to invest in things.
Yeah.
And also not only that, but you can invest thousands of dollars and think you're getting results. But at the end of the day, what's the best ROI for your business? And it's still not there with that as of right now.
Yeah.
You reevaluate and change.
And eventually we will have somebody managing our Pinterest account, and that will be their full time, and we'll probably outsource for that. However, right now with where we are at, we're investing into other areas of our business, like our newsletter copy, like some of our website copy, getting things that we know we can see an immediate return on. And it's also freeing up my time to where I can focus on taking on more projects.
Yes. Contract out work to people when you know you're going to get a good ROI and it's going to help you with your time. It's going to grow your business, and kind of look at the numbers and where you're getting that best investment.
And make sure you're not setting unrealistic expectations on that person that you're outsourcing to, because if they've outlined what they are going to be doing for you and the results that you should be seeing, and you still have that false expectation like we had, that's on us. That is not on who we worked with. Because at the end of the day, she did exactly what she said that she was going to do.
100%. All right. The next thing, yes, we got 2 more things. All right. So the next thing is not investing in photos in general. We've talked about this. We've done a whole episode on this if you want to watch it. But not investing in content and photos and videos, and not investing in the right person. I was just telling Michaela yesterday, but I'd heard of somebody who had paid somebody for like $20 to do a whole video, but then, because they were thinking they could get the most results.
Because they went on Fiverr.
Yeah, and they could get it. It's like sometimes spending more money is going to be a better investment. And you can't just say, well, this person's a photographer, I will hire them because they're the cheapest and it's just pictures, right? No, it's knowing who to invest in and choosing someone that fits your business, but investing in photos and videos and doing it right has been a huge return personally, because it saves you content.
It saves you a ton in content, but with choosing the right photographer and videographer, and we have an entire episode on this, exactly how we prep, plan, and execute a brand photo shoot and what that looks like. We will make sure to include it in the show notes as well with a link to that episode. Yeah, I believe we did too. But choosing the right photographer and videographer is so essential to nailing the entire essence and vibe of your brand. Because the first two photographers and videographers that we worked with for Refined, the first time we didn't even have our color palette nailed down. Like, it was just like we need
come
photos, we need and just come take pictures. And she is a great photographer, but her style is light and airy. That's the opposite of us and our style with Refined. We like very bold. We like flash photography. We like the shadows. We like kind of that moody effect. And the second photographer and videographer we worked with, the editing style just wasn't a match. And it's nothing against these two photographers and videographers. It's just it didn't adequately represent the way that we wanted to show up and we wanted our business to look online. However, we didn't do the legwork on the front end before those two photo shoots to really understand how important it was in choosing the right photographer and videographer. Okay, so that's why we're really honing into this right now. And then when we found Taylor Harris Photography, she knew exactly the style that we were trying to go for. We've worked with her now for 3 or 4 brand shoots.
Yeah. I mean, me personally.
Yeah, you've done a lot more. But with Refined, it's been like 3 or 4. I can't remember exactly. And the first time, she absolutely nailed it. It was awesome. The second time, got a little bit better. The third, even better. Our last one that we did, amazing. Like, those photos are so freaking cool.
They grow with you too.
They get to know you and they start to understand what you like, what you dislike. They start to be able to understand the type of content that you're going for this, so they can start making suggestions for you.
You got to find the right people for the right job.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's where we learned our lesson with brand photos and brand video. And it is so essential because, I mean, like, if you haven't done a brand photo shoot for your business, do it. Like, start thinking and prepping of what that investment's going to be. Start researching the right photographer or videographer based on the style that you want to go for and what you're trying to nail, what look you're trying to nail. And then understand the money that's going to be involved with that. Whether, yes, you're going to have the upfront cost of the photographer and videographer, but do you need to rent a space? What outfits are you going to be using? What props do you need?
That's another thing we did. We didn't like rent spaces properly.
No, we didn't.
Like, we didn't want to waste the money there. So
we tried to find free spaces.
And we didn't want to waste the money on makeup. And it's like all these things, which in the beginning, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But sometimes spending a little bit of money in one area can just really equal a greater return in others.
Most definitely. And now, because we have made the proper investment, we have seen such a return because our content is incredibly consistent. Everybody knows that when they're scrolling, they see one of our stock images because they're branded to us. They know exactly who it is. There's always a glimmer of orange in anything that we do. And so it just makes everything super cohesive, consistent across all of our platforms, and it works. And it speaks to our brand every single time. So just keep those little dots in mind. But that was definitely a money mistake that we made at the very beginning. And I'm glad that we got it figured out. Now we understand the investment that goes into it. But
I mean, every single shoot,
every single shoot that we do, I mean, we're looking probably around all in, it's around $2,500.
Yeah. I mean, now, and trust me, everyone's starting out in business.
Yeah. Our first shoot, I think, was maybe $800.
No, our first shoot was like $200.
Oh, $200. Well, there you go.
Yeah. And so it works for you somewhere. As a time. The thing is just knowing when to grow, investing as you grow, being self-aware, and learning as you go. So we're not taking this as, hey, money thing you should do is go spend $2,500 to get pictures. No. Even if
we had to work up to that.
Yeah, work up to it. But it is worth it to find a photographer that you like and to spend some money on some photos, even if you get like 15 or 20, right? But you just got to grow with it.
And if you can't afford brand photos, you can always hire a bomb ass videographer and then screenshot the video and be able to use that for some stock imagery as well.
Yeah.
Like, you're not as pigeonholed as you think you are with video.
Yes, 100%. All right. And then the last mistake, which is a mistake we're still learning to this day. To be raw and transparent. But creating more passive income within the business. We're a service-based business. And that relies on Michaela doing a lot of hours and a lot of service because it's just different. But we should have created products sooner, because we do a lot just because we love the community for free in general.
Yeah.
And we need to learn how to create these things that we're doing and transform them into more passive income for the business. And we wish we would have done that sooner.
Yep.
So learn from us. Like, even if you feel like you're not ready for products and stuff, start from day one.
Yeah.
And start selling things that you're giving out to people if they add value. That's a big thing. And we should have done that a lot sooner.
And make sure what you are actually putting out there, you are confident in. Like, you are more of an expert in. If you have never done a brand shoot before, or you really don't understand how to make it yours and make it look unique to you, don't create a freebie on how to properly prep for a brand shoot. Just don't do that.
Yeah.
Figure out something that works for you and your business,
you're
and that you
passionate
can
about.
actually speak on consistently. So if you are a service-based business, what is that one service? What is one piece within that service that you can extract and you can maybe make a freebie on? And then how can you take that freebie and capitalize on a smaller product that would serve you well with that service that you are providing?
Yeah, 100%. And I think just a lot of the small in-betweens of like money mistakes people make is like, one, don't assume you're going to be rich your first year.
Yeah.
I actually told Michaela, I remember the end of the first year, I said, if she made money from the business the first year, and we did not lose money, and we had even if it was a small net positive and she got paid, that was a huge win for a first year of business.
And we did it.
Yes, and we did it. I said that
Barely,
is a
but we
huge
did
win.
it.
We didn't go in debt for anything.
Yep.
She made money. She got paid. We had a net positive for the business. So that is always a win, whether that's $5 or whether that's $500,000. Like, having a net positive your first year is always a win. But most people, their first few years of business do end up, a lot of them, losing money, or going into debt and making some of those mistakes. So sometimes it's just a big money thing to learn, is that it's okay to grow a little slower. So you're not going into debt for things. And that's a huge part, but also being okay with like, well, did I make 6 figures my first year? No. But did I make something and did I do it full time? That's a win for me.
Yeah.
So I think people go into business thinking, I'll be a millionaire my first year. It's like,
not really how that works.
Not how that works. So be okay with it and you'll be fine.
Yeah. And I think it's very easy to get lost in the scroll with how many different businesses are out there. And it's so easy for us to access and to see them because of social media, with TikTok specifically and Instagram. And so just be very careful when it comes to comparing yourself to somebody that you're seeing online and their journey, because you don't actually know what they're going through. A lot of the times, Instagram is a very specific, curated, edited highlight reel. So, and make sure that you are being true to who you are, honest with yourself, with where you are at in your business, and understanding that it's going to take work. It's going to take a few years for you to actually see those results, and just lean in, because at the end of the day, yes, there's people out there that might look like they are moving at a much faster pace because of social media, but you know your clients, you know the work that you're putting in, you know this experience and the service that you are providing. And if all of those are supreme, you've buttoned those up, you have those down to a T, you are going to reach the goals that you have set for yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Be patient.
Be patient.
It's about in business, it's about the long gain, not the short gain. So be very patient.
I have to tell myself that every single day, I feel like.
Yes, right? All right, well, we'll end it here. Hopefully it gave you some advice on where to look in terms of money, returns on investment, and things to know.
If you like this episode, please like and subscribe to us. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. You can watch us here on YouTube. We would love to hear from you guys. So leave us a review, send us a DM. You can find us on Instagram at Rise and Refine Podcast. If you want to check out the brand and web design studio, you can find us every day over there at refinemarketing_. Outside of that, happy Monday, y'all.
See you next Monday.